Hey everyone, I'm back again with another video. I know I don't make very many of them. In fact, the only time I ever get inspired to make a video really is when I find myself explaining something in a cutting room way too often. So I make a video about it so I don't have to explain that thing anymore. But today I'm making a video because I've been inspired by a new piece of technology that can really help facilitate VFX turnovers and save a lot of time in the cutting room. A man named Dan reached out to me a while ago and he's introduced me to a product called Parser. And I'm very, very impressed with it, and I'd like to show you how to use it. And I'd like to emphasize that even if you don't use this tool to go through the whole process of turning over shots for VFX, which you can absolutely do because it can do it all the way through the process. But even if you want to just integrate it into your existing workflow, I'm sure you'll find this useful, and I'll explain why. So I've got a sequence here, and it has a series of effects. It's got 3D warps, resizes, time warps, dynamic time warps. It's even got one that's nested, like so. And a lot of these shots are respeeds in the Avid that originated at 48 or 60. That'll come into play later. So all of these shots are going to be VFX shots at some point. So I need to title them and do scans and lineups and all that stuff. So I'm going to export an AAF, just a link to AAF. All right, so let's open up the app. I'm going to take my AAF and throw it on the window and hit parse. Okay, it's going to ask me if I want to work with the shots that have markers on them or all the shots in the sequence. I don't have any markers, so I'm going to hit all clips. Here's all my clips from my sequence. I'm going to assign it an arbitrary VFX ID, XYZ0010. I want to increment by 10, which is, pretty common when you start turning over. Hit confirm. So what's it done here? Let's zoom in a bit because I know my videos are too high res for people to see sometimes. It's assigned a VFX ID to each shot. It's assigned 8-frame handles based on a setting I chose when I first imported the AAF. Obviously, that could be modified. It's recognizing every effect that was applied, including ones that were nested. It's creating my scans, and it knows, even though these are 24-frame respeeds, it knows that they were originally 48 because it's reading every metadata column in the Avid, and it knows which column has the original frame rate in it. So it knows these are actually 48, so it's applied a 200% off speed, and it will account for that when it does the scan. Here's the 60-frame shots. That's applying a 250% off speed calculation. If I click metadata columns, you can see it's reading every single metadata column from the shots that are available. And you can have any of these displayed in your scans ALE if you want to, and you can create custom layouts and all of that good stuff. If you don't like the name that it assigns for the scans, you can batch rename them or you can name them manually. So all that's been pretty well thought out. But let's just take a look at how it graphically represents these effects. Look at this. There's a warp, there's the scale in the percentage and the frames that it occurs on, and the XY values. And not only that, but it presents it in this text format too, which you can download and import into your existing database if you don't want to use this tool for a full turnover tool. But like I said, you can download a batch PDF of all of these lineup sheets. You can create downloads for ShotGrid. You can create a scans EDL. You can create a scans ALE. But I want to focus on 3 things because I don't think a lot of the people that I work with are going to want to use this tool to turn over their shots through the whole process. I think they're going to use it for a couple of key features to integrate into their existing databases. So let me show you the coolest ones for that. Subcaps AAF. Now I know what you're thinking. We've been able to generate subcaps automatically for a long time. What's the importance of this? I'll show you how cool it is in a second. The other one is the scans ALE, and the other one is the scans TSV. The ALE, that's self-explanatory. TSV, this has all of that metadata I was talking about for scaling and warps. So you can import that data directly into your existing databases. That's pretty sweet. The second is this AAF, and I'll show you why this is so cool. Okay, so here's the sequence I made an AAF from. Just ignore this effect on track 2. That's just blurring this image here so I don't have to censor footage later that I'm not allowed to use. So I'm going to get this Subcaps AAF and import it. And I'm going to cut it in above these shots. Okay, so why is this so much cooler than, say, Evan Schiff's subcap tool? It's automatically put the timeline clip note embedded into the metadata. And it's also put a marker in the middle of the shot named the exact same thing. So you can create your thumbnails right away. If I look in the timeline clip notes, you can see all of that data is there already. That's pretty cool. All right, the third one, the ALE. Why is the ALE so cool? Well, if you want to bring your scans in, if I show the reference clips and only show the master clips for what's in my sequence, here they are all down here, right? If I go to import, my import settings, and say merge events with known sources and automatically create subclips. And then bring back my original display data. So there's all of my scan clips already made. It's accounted for the off speed, and I'm going to hide my source monitor because I don't want any footage to be shown, but I can kind of demonstrate the same thing. The in and the outs are defaulted to within the frame range automatically. So this was clearly a warp, so there was a lot more tail frames needed and less on the head. But the in and the out are the exact frame range needed. So if you want to cut these into a sequence automatically, they'll cut right in. That's pretty cool. So anyway, go check this tool out. The website is parserio.com, and I'll put that in the description on the YouTube video.